Okay, you're clicking on this and you're probably thinking, wow, this is another typical Elden Ring, why I don't like Elden Ring video. And you're exactly right, it is exactly that, but it's just because I want to do this for fun, and I want to express my thoughts as to why I can't really play Elden Ring personally. Plus, it's gonna be a year since Elden Ring came out, and Jesus, that is crazy to think about. It's crazy to think that a year has already passed since Elden Ring came out, so bear with me here. Just listen to me, please. Ever since launch, Elden Ring has been incredibly popular, and it has outsold Dark Souls 1, which isn't that surprising to think about. Everyone was so excited for this game. Since the trailer came out in 2019, everyone was hyped for this game, and when they just kept revealing more and more people hopped on the bandwagon. And it makes complete sense. This is the newest game from Software since Sekiro, and From Software is a huge company now. And with the new addition of a Souls game, that means new people could get introduced to the Souls genre and the Dark Souls series as a whole and become huge fans of it. So the game was really player accessible. You could have been a veteran and you will enjoy it, or you could have been a beginner and you would enjoy it. Me, myself included, was really excited for Elden Ring because I've been a Souls fan since 2015 when I was measly 9 years old. And so when the game came out, I thought it was okay.
You what?
It did not really blow me out of the water. The first maybe 10, 20 out of my 40 hours of playing the game, I was having a great time, but then it declined swift. And before I go any further, I want to just say this is my opinion, and I don't think Elden Ring is a bad game by any means. I think it is wonderful, and it is very genre defining and defying, and I'm so happy that From Software got a ton of money from it and got immensely positive feedback, because I love seeing them succeed. So I don't think Elden Ring is bad or anything at all. You can call my opinion stupid if you want to. I won't get angry, but I really want to get into this. First off, I want to start by saying some things positive that I really like about this game. First off, this game is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. This is not really surprising coming from Software. They've always had a thing for beautiful landscapes, and it really shines in Elden Ring. It has some of the most beautiful locations that have ever been shown in Dark Souls. The combat in this game is very fluid. It is so nice, especially since they actually gave R2s a use. Yes, Ashes of War are probably my favorite thing they introduced to this game. It makes the combat so much more in-depth and fun. Also, being able to jump and use jumping attacks greatly helped that too. But unfortunately, that's really where my positives end. Yes, the exploration in the world was very immersive and fun, but then it kind of drops off after you get past Lindell Capital. See, I'm not much of a guy for open world games. I do like me a good open world game. Horizon Zero Dawn, Final Fantasy 15, Shadow of the Colossus I would consider open world, even though there is not much to do. I am a sucker for a good open world game, and I love some of them. Final Fantasy 15 is one of my favorite games of all time, and nothing could ever change that unless Final Fantasy 16 is somehow miraculously better, and I'm super excited for that. But anyway, Elden Ring, it has a good world. It's great, wonderful, but I just can't bring myself to explore. See, in my first playthrough, I explored every nook and cranny because I wanted to get the most out of this game, because this will be the first Souls game in a while. You know, I want to cherish this. I don't want to just rush through it and then waste my time, but I ended up doing that anyway. start off, I really do not like the NPCs in this game. There's some cool ones. Alexander, the gecko girl that I forgot the name of, America's Tits guy, and Dung Eater. I really like all of those characters, but I don't like their questlines. See, I've never been much of a questline guy in the Souls games. I will mostly just follow them if they have an item that I need or like a spell that I need, but that's really all I ever follow them for. And if you ask me, these questlines work much better with a waypoint system or a linear game style like the previous Souls games. It's not fun talking to someone for like 10-15 seconds and then having to search the whole world for them. And yes, granted, they will give you a clue on where they could be, but sometimes it can be very vague and you can't figure out what to do. Example, Ronnie's questline. Amazing questline, wonderfully crafted, but it is so cryptic that I don't know how anyone figured this out when the game launched. Now, just because questline equals difficult, questline equals complicated, questline equals requires a little bit of thinking, does not make it bad at all. Not by any means. I think cryptic questlines can be pretty good, but when every single character has a cryptic questline, it's also a character that isn't really enjoyable, and it doesn't really give you anything, you're not going to want to follow it. I'm sorry to break it to you, From Software. And this brings me into my another topic, lack of rewards. See, Elden Ring has a ton of dungeons scattered throughout its world. Whether it's caves, whether it's mines, or whether it's tombs. You can find multiple dungeons throughout the world, and some of them are way better than others. I explored pretty much every dungeon I could find. Lindell, through Caelid, through Limgrave. But then I stopped. And why did I stop? Because I noticed there was a lack of reward for my effort. See, every time I would go through these dungeons, I would feel more relieved that it's over rather than excitement. I never felt like, oh boy, I got a new item that I could use. I have a new item in my arsenal that can potentially save me in a boss fight. I never thought that. I could never think that because most encounters in these caves, in these dungeons, in these mines don't give you anything worthwhile. If you're a melee character, you'll get a spell that you won't use, or if you are a spell caster, you may get a spell that is useless to you, or a melee weapon that is useless to you. Now, of course, you won't know what cave holds what until you beat the game and you finish said dungeon, but still, you can be like me and you'll get disappointed irregardless. And when every reward is disappointing and when every dungeon has the same stone cat or lion main guy, it's not enjoyable. It's not making me want to, go through every dungeon in every, you know what I mean. In fact, that is another reason why I kind of rushed through Elden Ring near the end. The amount of copy and pasted bosses and enemies just, I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way. It made me feel icky. And I get it, they probably ran out of time or maybe ran out of budget, so they had to reuse a bunch of stuff. But 180 bosses? We don't need that many. There is way too many bosses, and I'm not expecting them to make 180 unique bosses. Not at all. I completely understand. That is just too absurd of a task to ask of somebody, so I give them leeway, but still, in certain areas and stuff, it just feels lazy. It just feels like they didn't even want to try. However, I do think, some of the dungeons are still fun, despite this. This doesn't make Elden Ring automatically a bad game just because of this, but it definitely kills the replayability. One of my favorite things about the Souls games are how replayable they are due to their linear style. See, even in older Souls games, after I beat it, I know where everything is, it's still fun to go through. The problem with Elden Ring is that it's open world, so you're not going to want to go out of your way to do all of these tasks again. And if you already know where everything is, then you're just going to immediately go to that area and get the things you need. It also makes it a hassle on repeat playthroughs because I'll have to go halfway across this world just to get an item that I need, and it is not fun in the slightest. Yes, in previous Souls games, if you wanted a certain weapon, you might be able to get it early, or you might have to wait almost until the end of the game to get it. But since the game is so linear, it's a lot faster, if you ask me, and there's also really good alternatives to the weapon you may want. Do you want a frost build? Well, get the Airful Straight Sword before you can wield Vort's Hammer. You won't regret it, I promise. You want to go for a strength build in Dark Souls 1? Well, try to mess with the chances of getting a Black Knight Greatsword near the start. In summary, Elden Ring is a very fun game, yes, but the lack of replayability and the amount of monotony that you will go through to get certain items that you need on repeat playthroughs just does not make it worth playing to me. I just can't bring myself to play it, and I do want to replay it. I do want to give it another try. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't bring myself to. And now I'm gonna stop wasting your time, and I can't think of a really good outro for this video, so I hope you enjoyed watching and you enjoy the content. Like and subscribe, follow my Twitch, and follow my Discord in the description. Yeah, goodbye.